Well, hello, and welcome to Crystallized Experience with Crystal. I have to hurry and do this one because I just may lose the nerve to do it. It's been a couple days since I've actually done a video, um, multiple different reasons. I am just got finished with a funeral this weekend. And it was so funny. I say funny, but it was ironic after having the conversation with you uh, last week, I think it was, about my experience with grieving and how many times I've actually done a funeral. I actually ended up literally doing another one. Um, and did not know that the day that I released that one, I think maybe a few days after that, a day or so after that, I literally got a phone call and I had to do the exact same thing that I spoke to you about. So I have had that. A dear aunt of mine passed away, and I had to assist her granddaughter, which was nostalgic, especially during this time period for me. This is my 2 weeks. Again, like I said, we're different this year, so we rocking. We rocking, baby. But again, I will update you. I did drop my son off at um, his new apartment, and he's loving it. The only problem is it's hurricane season, and I dropped my kid off in the middle of hurricane country. So I stayed up most of last night making sure he was okay. But that's just what moms do. And he was so fine. He was doing stuff that college kids do. We'll not talk about that. It may come back to haunt him one day. But it's amazing that they like to include me in their in craziness. So he called me on FaceTime as long as he could to let me know he was okay, as well as I engaged in some of the foolery that they had going on. So I'm glad that they even want to talk to me and include me in their happy moments, fun moments, crazy moments, sad moments. I'm glad that they just want to deal with me. So I'm excited. But what I want to talk about today um, is about body image issues and weight and depression and how it all works together. So, a little bit background information. I'm not gonna do the whole as I was a kid I was so fat and I was picked on. That wasn't me. But that wasn't me. We're not gonna go woe is me. But these are literally the experiences that I've had. And my mother had great intentions when she was doing all of this stuff. So I've been in dance since I was the age of 2. And coming up in dance, you have your little leotards on and everything. And then my mother being an educator and our family having health issues. We are a family who has a lot of high blood pressure, diabetes, all of the ailments that come along with obesity. And in that, we have to be careful. And so at a very early age, she started to want to make sure that I ate right. So I was really little, and she put me on a diet. And it was an active diet. My aunt, she would take me to my aunt's house, and she would say, "Why are y'all letting her eat that?" And they would say, "Well, what she asked for it," and so we gave it to her. She said, "Well, she's not supposed to have that many calories per day." So I've been on a diet all my life because I was a premature baby, much like my nephew that was recently born. I was born at 27 and a half, well, 27 weeks. I was 2 pounds and 6 ounces when I was born. And so I was told I wasn't going to live past the age of 7. I wasn't going to be able to have children, and that I would be retarded. Which, let's not even go there for all my friends that know me, because retarded, whatever. These are the words that they actually use, but this is in the 80s. So when it's actually, I was one of the first sets of babies in the NICU here in this area, and so the March of Dimes used to come out, and actually I was a part of that. I would go and meet with all the people and families during that time period. Well, anyway, I had a praying grandmother and a grandmother that made pot liquor and cornbread and fed it to me off of her finger when I was a very, very, very little baby. When my mama brought me to her, because she didn't know what to do with this little bitty thing. And so I started eating, and when I started eating, I started liking it, and it was good, and I was happy about it. So as years go by, I began to gain weight, and I'm a heavy kid, and my mother is trying to not have the little round chubby baby, right? Ball little girl. I'm supposed to be in ballerina outfits, and they're telling her that as she gets older, she'll grow into all of that. Just wait. So many stories I could tell you about celery and peanut butter with raisins on it was my snack. Apples and peanut butter was my snack. Raisins were my snack. I couldn't eat cookies and stuff like that, so I only got cakes, cookies, and ice cream and stuff when I would go to my cousin's house. So we were very, very health conscious. So I had a cousin. Now she let me spend the night with her, and when she came to pick me up, I was sitting at the table, and she was feeding me margarine. And so my mom was like, "Why are you feeding her margarine?" And she said, "Well, she asked for butter. She kept saying, I want butter. And she said she meant peanut butter, because I used to eat peanut butter out of the spoon. I love peanut butter. My daddy's nickname for me is peanut butter. I've always been peanut butter because I love peanut butter. But anyway, and peanut butter has a lot of calories, and if you want to gain weight, you eat peanut butter. So I love peanut butter, so I gain weight, whatever. So long story short, I've always been on a diet. As I got older, I danced, lost the weight, became really small. But people don't know, only a couple of dancers who danced with me back then knew that I struggled with an eating disorder back then. I struggled with bulimia at a particular time period because I was on a dance line. And when you're on a dance line, you have to be a certain size. I'm 5'2". Some people say 5'1", 5'2". Thick in the hips, big old thighs. My mom used to call them thunder thighs. I've always had a large rump roast. Never really was a busty girl, but now for some reason I am. But when you dance, you can't have that. So at the high school I went to, it was a big deal. So I could not get the weight off. They would literally tell us that we could not eat lunch with everyone else. We would have to come into the room and bring our lunch, and they would watch what we ate during high school. So I would eat crackers and water because I was the biggest girl on the line at about 130 pounds at the time. I was still the biggest girl on the line. Still couldn't get down to what they wanted me to get down to because my body structure was not made for that. So I started throwing up. I wouldn't eat anything. I wasn't dealing with any binge eating or anything and throwing up, but literally just if I did even eat the crackers, I would go and throw it up. Well, we move on to college, where I dance on the drill team in college, where again I am the biggest girl on the line, but because of my dance ability at the time, um, they couldn't deny me off the line due to my size. Um, they made me run extra. They sent me to a nutritionist, and they did the full BMI chart for me, told me how many calories I could intake, and I literally starved myself to dance. Well, remember I was in college. I met a guy, got pregnant. So that life, as far as college life, ended as far as dancing. So I get pregnant. I don't really gain a lot of weight after the first child. I opened my dance studio. I was still able to dance. I danced while I was pregnant with her. I danced. I was good at that point. It was when I got pregnant with the second child, before she was one. For my daughter was one. That's when the weight really hit, because I was depressed now. My mother had passed, and I had a 6-month-old babe. 8 months. She was 6 months old when I found out I was. No, I think she was 8 months old when I found out I was 2 months pregnant with my son. So I my mama would never watch me eat this time. So with my daughter, she was watching everything I ate. I had to eat liver and salad and things like that for the nutrients and to make sure she was good. And it kept my weight down. It really did. But when she was no longer there, I was like, well, ain't nobody tell me I can't eat this, so I ate it. I was depressed. I was crying. I was upset. I also, at that point, because I had been pregnant, was off my antidepressants, and I ate. I filled the void with food. I did ice cream. I was a big sweets person at the time. So after my son, I kept the weight. I was that's a whole nother conversation about marriage. So that even played a part in the demise of my marriage. And actually, marriage is the weight has too. I could tell you how in a minute, but that became a source of the abuse. So then it became the ridicule, because now I'm the fat girl. I'm not the little girl that he married, or that he met. My body was ugly. I had horrible stretch marks. I have horrible stretch marks. Tiger stripes. Skin that the only way that I can fix that is to have a tummy tuck. It's the absolute only way to fix it, because even as much as I can work out, the doctors have already told me that what I have, the way my skin has stretched, and to the extent that it has stretched, I cannot work. I can lose all the fat underneath it, but it'll still be there, and I always still feel. I'll still have to wear a corset or some form of something to keep it together, because it's the elasticity is gone in the skin. Well, moving forward to the next marriage, between us, it was either you can have a baby, or I had my tubes tied really early. I begged. That's a whole nother conversation. To have my tubes tied. Well, it was either have surgery to have my tubes untied and only have about a 70% um, chance of actually becoming pregnant, or have gastric bypass. The reason why we did not choose to have a baby was because I have what's called the RH factor. So for me to have children is sort of like a miracle, because my body actually kills off any foreign objects. It jumps in the cell. They don't join with any cell, or either the child can be have birth defects. Well, both of my children are okay because I so happen to join with the right blood type. I have B negative blood, and so I had to, by chance, join with a O positive, and I did, and so they were fine. I've done the research on it. He and I looked at it. We talked to some doctors, and we decided not to. So we decided that, hey, go and have gastric bypass, get this weight off, so that you know that you're here for your grandchildren and your children, and you're able to do the things that you need to do. Well, that all sounded good until I actually lost the weight. When I actually lost the weight, then I didn't know that I would become unattractive to him then, because these jowls right here I didn't have anymore. It became very evident at a certain time period that the person that I was, that's what he was attracted to. Well, now I have lost 75 pounds, almost 80 pounds, and I'm literally a stick. People are like, are you sick? You need to eat. Man, it's so psychologically confusing some days when you think about it. So don't get it twisted. I went through a psychological evaluation before we actually had the surgery. Did all that. I was fine. But it's when you deal with people saying, I mean, you weren't that big, so why you had surgery? Yeah, but there probably were the same people that said, you know, all you have to do is work out. All you have to do is not eat. I mean, push back from the table. All you have to do is this, and all you have to do is that. Now, after having gastric bypass in 2012, losing over 80 some pounds, to almost being back to my weight before surgery, is now you get the people who say, well, I know you're just depressed, and you know you need to just pull it together, because I mean you're gaining weight, and I know you really don't want to gain weight. And you say, I'm trying to stay alive. When God's ready for me to lose this weight, I'll lose this weight. But right now, my soul needs fixing. I can remember the conversation well. I was so outdone. I said, me gaining weight is not the important thing. Me not laying down and giving up is what I'm concerned with these days. I was actively grieving my sister, actively in the midst of a divorce, actively dealing with my children, the empty nest syndrome. Oh, mamas, that empty nest syndrome is so serious. It's so many different things. And then I was taking medication. I have asthma, so I'm on steroids, asthma pumps, all kinds of stuff. And the one thing that concerns others is what you look like. When sometimes people are just trying to hold it together. You know, the picture that looks so beautiful on the front, but if you turn it over, it's held together with snot, blood, sweat, tears, paint, scotch tape, glue. What we do to fit, what we do to feel better, what we do to be accepted, what we do, even down to our hair, our lashes, our makeup, our jewelry, what clothes we wear, all of it. I had a conversation recently. Someone was complimenting me, or the style of compliment that they were giving me was not a compliment to me. And I had to express to them that, hey, although you think that makes me feel good, it doesn't. But as you don't know that I have body image issues, and I'm not used to being this thick anymore. And so I have to learn how to be her again. So I would appreciate if you stop talking about my body like that. You have to tell people it's okay. We all go through. And as we get older, that metabolism slows down, and we have to learn how to eat. Like now I've got to go back and start making sure I'm doing that every 2 hours, healthy snack. And walking. For a little while, I just wanted to live. I needed peace. I needed happiness. I needed my children healthy and happy. And I said, I'll get this weight off when I get ready. But you know, as I keep walking, I'm like, I'm healthy. I'm alive. I'm okay. It'll come off when it comes off, if it comes off. Again, moments. I needed to deal with this moment. I don't want to deal with it for days. I don't want to wallow in it for weeks. I would dare do it again for months and years, like I've done before. I'm me. Not solid yet. On our way to being crystallized. Thanks for listening. Be blessed.